What is going on, Washington fans? It's your boy Josh Taylor here with A to Z Sports Washington. And I decided for this Monday night live stream, the week of the Super Bowl, we're going to be talking about some draft prospects because I feel like every year after I get back from the Senior Bowl, which is where I was this past week, just got back on super late Friday night. I feel like a lot of stuff starts to move around. That's when the draft boards starts to shift. And then, of course, you have the combine where a lot of things change as well. And then the pro days, visits, all that good stuff just leading up to the draft in April. But I feel like that Senior Bowl is such a heavy hitter. And this draft class is very unique. So just after talking to people, scouts and stuff like that at the Senior Bowl, other draft heads, just getting a vibe for what this draft is going to feel like and, how teams feel about this draft. I feel like I have a better understanding so far. There's still a lot of time. I'm not saying I know every single pick. I'm not saying I know how everything's going to play out, but I feel like I spent enough time at the Senior Bowl just talking to so many people that I got a better idea of what to expect. And of course, you'll see that in my mock drafts. And I put out a mock draft this morning, a 7-round mock draft for the Commanders on A2Zsports.com. So be sure to check that out. But I just want to chop it up with y'all because I feel like there's still so much division within these picks, especially at number 7 for Washington with a top 10 pick. You don't know who's going to be there. So I just kind of want to talk about it. I wanted to go through the chats. I wanted to get y'all's ideas and thoughts and questions and comments, but then also kind of wanted to just open up how I feel about this draft, after being around, other teams, other scouts and stuff like that. And, like I said, just kind of asking about how teams felt. What's going on, Lord Drago? Welcome to the chat. We got my boy Master Andrew said, hi, it is me, but Adam's about to drop a bag this off season. I don't think it's just you. I think, the salary cap's going up. That doesn't mean you have more money to spend. It kind of means that you have more money to spend in-house and kind of keep your people. And I think Laramie Tunzel is in that, category, obviously. I think Chris Paul's in that category. But the Commanders are still projected to have top 5 salary cap. And then, they're going to release Marshawn Lattimore by the new league year or whenever, honestly. They should have done it already, but, with his injury, it's kind of wonky. It's kind of like one of those weird things. You don't really release somebody that had an injury just yet. It's still soon. The season's still going on, but they're going to get rid of Marshawn. It sounds like they're going to keep Deron Payne. They're not going to restructure anything, so maybe that stays the same. But they still have some more money that they can get out there. But I agree with you. I think Adam has to drop a bag this offseason. And it's funny because every year we're like, oh, the free agency group's probably not that good. And it turns out that there's some really solid players. Just ask the New England Patriots who, dropped the bag on Milton Williams. But then they also signed some really quality, smaller, I don't want to say like quality players, but just like they're still, really good like contributors right now that are helping them get to the Super Bowl. So you got to be able to be aggressive. You can't, play it too conservative like Adam Peters did last offseason. But I do think they're going to spend this offseason. Yosoli said, let's get it. I'm hyped. Hey, chat. I do hope AP doesn't just go with whoever has the highest RAS, the relative athletic score. I will say to Adam Peters' defense, usually players with a higher relative athletic score just have a better chance of, transitioning to the NFL. Very, very rarely does a player that has a really low athletic score translate. But I do agree. Like, I see what you're saying, Master Andrew. Like, you don't want that to be like the be all for the draft. And I get that. But there are a lot of really good teams out there that do base a lot of their picks off of the relative athletic score. You'd be surprised. But I do agree. I'm super intrigued by this draft. Yosoi said Bailey, Styles, Downs, my top 3. I'm with you. That's pretty much my top 3. I would probably sneak Mekhi Lemon in there. As y'all know, I've been super high on Mekhi Lemon since the college season started. And I started really pushing him for Washington. My agenda started back in like September, and it's not going away. It's not going away. Like Mekhi Lemon's my wide receiver 1. Defensive BPA, best player available. Not mad at it. Manners Nation said, what's up, Josh? What's going on? What's going on? See, that was the problem with our coaching staff. Never played the young guys. So how do you know Adam draft strategy is bad? And that's true. I don't trust our development, on the staff and what's going on with the players. And just, there's a lot of question marks and the younger guys didn't play. Then you had Johnny Newton, who was a primarily pass rushing monster in college, and he's playing mostly on run stopping downs. So you're not really putting your players in a position to succeed. That was one thing that really just confused the heck out of me this season. I'm like, why the heck are they playing Johnny Newton on primarily early downs when he is a pass rushing defensive tackle? And then they finally do, and he had a good game against the Cowboys. I wouldn't be opposed to a wide receiver at 7. I wouldn't either, door gunner, because you don't know what they're going to do in free agency. Maybe they just go, absolutely ape wall in free agency on defense and load up there. I do have I think Cardell Tate's a pretty safe prospect. I don't want people to think that he's just every other Ohio State wide receiver. I don't think that's fair. This isn't much of a shot, but I would say Cardell Tate's probably one of the lower tier Ohio State wide receivers that's come out recently. Once again, it's not really a shot because that's better than a lot of other, first round picks that have come out. But for me, Mekhi Lemon's my first one. If I knew that Jordan Tyson was going to be 100% healthy, he would definitely be my wide receiver 1. But he just had so many small nagging injuries throughout the whole season. And his whole thing is just how explosive he is. So if he has these little nagging leg injuries, he's not going to be able to be himself. So I do have my reserves. I can't wait to see the medicals on Jordan Tyson because that's one of the things I want to see. But if Jordan Tyson is completely healthy, then yes, he's my wide receiver 1. But as things stand right now, Mekhi Lemon's my wide receiver 1. What's going on, Range? Welcome. Your Iowa boys are showing out at the Senior Bowl, especially the ginger with the mullet, Dunker. He was nice. We need Lloyd, the linebacker, with the Jags. I do agree. So I didn't see this until today, and this is something I'm definitely going to dive into with an article tomorrow. I had someone send this over to me. Light said, "What's up, Josh? How do you feel about the recent Devin Lloyd news? How do you think AP should use a lot of money to get Lloyd, hypothetically $20 million a year? That's way too expensive." Let me see. And once again, this isn't always 100% accurate, but I want to see what Spot Track, because sometimes they'll have those bigger free agents with their market projections, and they just started updating a lot of stuff. So I want to see what they have him projected at. But to be honest with you, I mean, regardless, let's see where he's at. He's got to be near the top. So yeah, they have him projected at $20 million a year. He's only 27 years old. So I'm perfectly fine with $20 million a year, because realistically, you're probably going to sign him to a 4-year deal. That first year is going to be, I would say, I don't know, 15 mil, 14 mil, if that. And then you probably have it out after that 3rd year, just because that's how contracts are structured. And then that last year is going to be super heavy, but then you can also restructure it once you get to that out period, after that 3rd year, restructure it, extend them if you're happy with how things are going. So you can play with it a lot. I don't want people to think you're just going to sign them to, $20 million a year, and it's literally going to be just $80 million guaranteed to Devin Lloyd. Not at all. But I mean, Devin Lloyd is probably one of my dream free agents. So the fact that the Jaguars might actually let him go and not franchise tag him, that's pretty notable. Because I mean, their defense is completely different. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write this down before I forget. I'm gonna look into that and maybe do an article about that tomorrow. Because like I said, I had someone send that over to me today, and I've been so unplugged from anything not NFL draft and not Senior Bowl. I haven't seen anything, but I mean, their defense was so much worse when Devin Lloyd wasn't on the field. Just a turnover machine. Everyone around him got so much better. And just looking at Devontae Jones's defense, I think Devin Lloyd, like I said, he plays well in coverage. He's probably one of the better coverage linebackers in the NFL right now. He can stop the run at a high rate. He can blitz when you need him to. He does everything Devontae Jones needs on this defense. And I think Frankie Louvu is going to be so much better in Devontae Jones's defense. Just talking to some Vikings people, and there's people outside of Washington are like, man, Frankie Louvu was so bad last year, but I promise you, Devontae Jones is going to have a great role for Frankie Louvu. They're not going to just throw him on the edge, and he's going to be going against tackles and getting chipped by running backs every play. He will actually have a legit role to where he can get back to playing how he wants to. So that excites me. But I want to add that second guy with, a guy like Devin Lloyd, and then You'll obviously have Jordan McGee out there too, who once again fits what Durante Jones wants to do. But Devin Lloyd is for sure one of my dream free agents. If I could get him at 20 mil a year, I'm for sure doing it, because you're not really going to end up paying him 20 mil a year. What's going on, Radar? What's going on? Dorgan said prefer defense though, but won't complain about another weapon for Jaden. I don't think Jaden would complain either, because you got to get some more weapons. Got to get some more weapons. So what do you think? What do you like about Sonny Styles? Is there anything in particular that you really like about him? So yeah, for those that didn't see, I mocked Sonny Styles to the Commanders at 7. I didn't just do it because Daniel Jeremiah did it as well, but one thing that I really got the feel for at the Senior Bowl is people like Josh. This is people outside of Washington. This is like Titans people. This is outside of Washington. This is like covers other teams, covers the draft. They're like, Josh, there's a very, very good chance that both Ruben Bain, David Bailey, and very likely Caleb Downs could be off the board before 7. Who is your pick? And once again, I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I want Jeremiah Love? Do I want, Mekhi Lemon or another wide receiver? Or do I want Sonny Styles? And once again, just talking about how Sonny Styles fits Durante Jones's defense. He is literally the perfect prospect for that defense. I think he is going to be one of those just blue chip guys. We don't have that Jaden Daniels on defense. We don't have that one player. Like if it was Madden that's getting that X factor. Ain't no X factors on our defense. We need that one guy that you can build around. And I mean, he's 6'5", 243 pounds. And he moves around like he's much smaller, because he's a converted safety, but he only missed 2 tackles on the whole season. I can't say that about nobody else in Washington. And they didn't happen until the college football playoff. He had 0 missed tackles until they got to the college football playoff. Then he missed 2 tackles. Everyone's like, oh no, here we go. But Sonny Styles, man, just seeing how big he is, like he literally looks like a robot. Like you're like, oh, he's 6'5", 243. He's going to be super slow. He's going to move awkwardly. Not at all. He is so smooth in coverage. It shocked me. Like when I had to go back and watch him, I was like, man, this guy is just a freak athlete. He's a big time leader. People rave about Sonny Styles. I talked to so many people this past week. They were so high on Sonny Styles. I was like, all right, I need to be better about my process. I need to go back and watch Sonny Styles like just closely and see how he would fit. Because that was another thing too. Like, would he just fit in every single role, like every single scheme? Maybe, but I didn't want to jump on any certain player until I knew who our defensive coordinator was. And of course, we hired the defensive coordinator while I'm up in the air, flying to Alabama. Like I told y'all that it would happen, so you're welcome. And once again, just talking to Vikings people throughout the week, just trying to get to know Durante Jones and the Vikings defense and what they look for, experienced defensive backs, edge players that can drop into coverage, that can do a lot of stuff, but then linebackers that can literally do everything possible. You can blitz, you can cover, you can stop the run, because, they're going to do a lot of 3-4, but they're also going to do a lot of sub packages. They're going to have a lot of 3 safety sets. But like everyone I just talked to was like, man, that secondary is super important, but that linebacker role, that Van Ginkel kind of caliber person, you desperately need a really good do-it-all linebacker in his defense, or he's not going to be able to do everything. So honestly, I love everything about Sonny Styles after watching him. And, I watched a lot of Ohio State games, but I didn't get to just go back and watch Sonny Styles, actually scout just him, because it was usually Caleb Downs. But I was just surprised at how well he actually moved for his size. Like it's crazy. You shouldn't be able to move like that at 6'5", 243. But his coverage ability, Washington has not had that in a long time at linebacker. But then also his ability to wrap up tackles and not miss tackles, Washington hasn't had that for a long time. So I don't want people to just be like, oh, they're taking another Jamin Davis. Here we go, like PTSD. Not at all. This is a guy who's going to cover for you. This is a guy who's going to wrap up those tackles when they get to the second level, like it did all year last year. But this is also a guy you're going to be able to bring in the blitz package, and you're also increasing your pass rush. It's not just one thing. It's literally everything. It's literally everything. Marvin said they got to get Sean Taylor's brother, Gabe. So Gabe's on the DC Defenders. What's going on, Michael? Welcome. Honestly, I think we get 2 or 3 big names. Everybody think we're going to get 6 or 7 major names. Yeah, that never happens. No team's going to get 6 or 7 major names, and especially a team that has 33 free agents pending. 33 free agents pending. That's a lot. So they're going to have to keep some that we're not happy about just because you literally have to. But then also they need to do kind of what they did the first season, the first offseason. Like Dorrance Armstrong was a rotational guy for the Cowboys. He was like 27 at the time. He was one of those ascending players. Same with Tyler Biadasz. He wasn't like a sure starter at the time. He was one of those ascending players. You got him on a cheaper deal. They got to find those guys this free agency. Who is the Dorrance Armstrong? Who's the Tyler Biadasz? Not who's the Zach Ertz. Not who is the Bobby Wagners of this group. Like, find those young up-and-coming guys, but they're also going to have to keep some people on the roster that we're not happy with at all. Would chat cook me if I shared that I got a Javon Kinlaw to autograph my Javon Kinlaw jersey? Not at all, man. Not at all. Don't be ashamed. What do you think about Barian Brown at the Bowl? I thought Barian Brown, first off, he's smaller than I thought. But obviously, someone that size, you want him to be able to get some separation. And he did that easily. But he also had really good hands. He had one catch in the end zone where it's like an out route, and Nussmeier threw it to him. So like his actual college quarterback, and he, showed the late hands. Really good, just, being able to maneuver his body, good adjustment to the ball. And I liked him. And it's funny because I posted stuff all about him, and LSU fans were like, see, like, we wasted this guy's talent. And there's a lot. There's a lot of these underrated gems at wide receiver. And I wrote about a lot of them, honestly. But like Cyrus Allen out of Cincinnati, that's a dude you could probably get in the 5th round. 12 touchdowns in 2025. They finally played him in the slot that last year, which they should have, because he's like 5'11", 185, I want to say. But there's just so many underrated. Like, I hate this wide receiver class usually, like after the 2nd or 3rd round. But after like watching a lot of these players, and it wasn't that good of a wide receiver group at the Senior Bowl either, you just had these random gems pop out, like Tyron Montgomery, that D3 guy. Like I said, Cyrus Allen, Barian Brown looked good. There's just a ton of guys. I'm like, I don't even know who this is yet. And they caught my attention. Did they just fire the director of scouting and a player development person? So yeah, they got rid of the player development person. And the director of scouting went to the Steelers. He was with Washington for 24 or 25 seasons, but he's gone. They haven't announced any like hirings or anything like that yet. I don't know if they will. It's kind of one of those like weird things that sometimes they announce and sometimes they don't. Radar said, I have an agenda that this interior defensive tackle class has a chance to be better than this edge class. Honestly, it probably does. I will say I'm also super high on this edge class now after seeing Gabe Akis, after seeing Denai Dennis Sutton, Zion Young, Derek Moore, Nadam Tucker, who came out of nowhere. And that's something I wrote about too, that I think people need to start realizing. If they miss out on Ruben Bain, if they miss out on David Bailey, and they take Sonny Styles, they take, Caleb Downs, or they take Mekhi Lemon, whoever, if they miss out on an edge, I think you can find a good starter at 71. I think Denai Dennis Sutton would be there. Maybe TJ Parker is a guy that slips way farther than we expect. But I think Denai Dennis Sutton has a chance of being there at 71. I think Gabe Akis is a guy I'm higher on than a lot of people. I was preaching about him before the Senior Bowl, and now people have him as like a high 2nd round pick when he was projected to go in like the 4th round. I think Gabe Akis just made himself a ton of money at the Senior Bowl. But man, if a guy like him is there at 71, I would be so okay passing up on David Bailey and taking another legit defender there. Or like I said, if you miss out on Bain or Bailey, I would be okay with taking Downs. I would be okay with taking Styles, and then getting your edge at 71. Like that's one thing I came away with at the Senior Bowl. Like, okay, this edge class is deeper than I thought. You take Love. I would consider it at 7. Depends what they do in free agency, because there's so many free agent running backs. Rico Dowdle, Kenneth Walker's probably not going to hit free agency now that Zach Charbonnet tore his ACL. You have J.K. Dobbins, you have Breece Hall, you have Tyler Algier, you have Rashad White. Who else is there? I feel like I'm missing like 2 or 3. Javonte Williams. I can't remember them all, but that's a good little bit. But I think you at least consider it. Tate does remind me of a young Terry. I can see it. I don't know. I feel like Tate's a little taller. But they kind of run similarly. I can see that. Most or at least half of the cap needs to go towards defense, and then most of the picks needs to be defensive players. So this is okay. I'll say this too. Let me hydrate. And I got this feeling as the Senior Bowl went on too, and I tweeted this out. But a lot of people I talked to said that this is not a good offensive draft. Like, of course, you have Jeremiah Love. Of course, you have Mekhi Lemon. You have Carnell Tate. You have Jordan Tyson. But because of how bad the quarterbacks are, the tight ends are bad. Like, there's like 2 or 3, maybe. The offensive line's not the sexiest. And like the running back class drops off pretty fast. Pretty bad. So I was surprised at how bad a lot of the offense was at the Senior Bowl. Like, I was just like, man, it just didn't impress me. And I think there's definitely some sleepers in there. There's definitely some of those later round guys that you'll find that just prosper. Of course, I had my favorites. Like I said, I was impressed by a lot of these wide receivers. Like Kevin Coleman Jr. is a guy that y'all know I love. Like I said, Cyrus Allen. There's a lot of these underrated wide receivers, but a lot of people I talked to was like, this teams hate this draft overall. And if you like someone, it's usually on defense. There's not a lot of offensive players in this draft that you're just like, hey, I can't wait to get this guy. And this is also a draft that's bad enough where teams are not going to trade. Like, you have to think about how good the draft is next season. 2027 might be the most loaded draft in the last like 10 years. 2027 draft has been talked about since Jeremiah Smith was a freshman, since Arch Manning was a freshman, since Ryan Williams, who kind of fell off, sorry, my guy, was a freshman, like Ryan Wingo, Colin Simmons, Dylan Stewart. Since those guys were a freshman, which was like 2 off seasons ago, we have been talking about this 2027 draft. So why would teams trade picks from a 2027 draft that's really, really deep and really, really good for a very mid 2026 draft? Teams aren't going to do it. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. I don't care if it's a year away. I know us fans, like, we want those best players now. We want those guys right now. They don't exist. The 2027 draft blows the 2026 draft out of the water. It is like the NFL versus the CFL. Like, it is drastically better. And I have fans tell me all the time, like, oh, they're going to trade back, Josh. They're going to trade back with who? And they're going to trade back for who? Or who's someone going to trade up for? Dante Moore's not in this draft. No one's going to trade up for Jeremiah Love. So I have so many people tell me, oh, trade down. Here we go, Masters. Like, love you to death. I feel like 7 is too high for Styles. If Bain, Bailey, Downs are out, do whatever you can to trade back to around 15 and get a second round or another third and get a good DT. Like I said, no one's trading back this draft, or no one's trading up. Sure, every team would love to trade back, but teams don't like this draft. And like, I get it. This is not the sexiest draft at all. And like, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm glad we got Laramie Tunsil. Like, yes, I would love a second round pick. Yes, I would love a 4th round pick. That's high. That's high draft capital. But nothing is guaranteed in this draft. A lot of people I talk to after the top 50 picks, it is a complete crapshoot. No one knows where anybody's about to go. Teams are going to just start taking players that fit exactly what they're looking for. They don't care about anything else. Like, okay, we need a, stout slot receiver that's great after the catch, that can run this route tree, that can fit in this scheme. Who do you got? That's what we're going to take. This is going to be one of those drafts where you're like, oh my God, they just took who? Or like, you see a player fall farther than you think because they're just people like, he just doesn't fit what we need. Like, it's going to be one of those weird, wonky drafts. I'm telling y'all, after about midway of the second, it's just going to be all hell broke loose. You're going to see random people coming off the board. You're going to be seeing people you've never heard of. You're going to be seeing people that you thought were going to go in the fourth, gone in the late second. People you thought were going to go in the early second, fall to the late third. It's just going to be overall chaos. Overall chaos. If AP can find Bill, and I have faith that he can draft. I agree with you. I mean, he's a good 7th round pick. We need to cut Allegretti. We would save like $7 million. Yeah, that contract was a little bad at the time, and now it's starting to get into the bad territory. But they do need depth, so what? See, I seen Spot Track estimate projected price is like $8 million. Sounds about right. Draft Bain and get Hendrickson. We straight. I'm with you on that. I would love to get Trey Hendrickson. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's old. He's old. I don't care. Like, sign for a 2-year deal. You need that production somewhere. He's worth taking a flyer on. Lloyd and Down sound great. It sounds like a great offseason if we get a corner for sure. This team needs speed badly on defense. Absolutely. And there's a lot, like I said, those top guys with Downs, with Styles. I mean, Bailey's fast. Like, to fans who don't like him, Styles makes fights though. But seriously, if Styles fits the system, which I think he does perfectly, being a former college safety, I would take him higher than expected. And that's the thing. Like, I've seen Styles as high as 7 to Washington, and I've seen him as late as 15. But like I was just saying, like, take who you think is actually going to help out what you need, you know? If you're looking for that kind of player on defense, don't be like, well, Jeremiah Love is better. Let's try him. Like, no, you have a chance to add something you actually really, really need, and you think it's a good player. So Styles is Fred Warner 2.0, and exactly why I would take him. Do you think we draft a corner later in the draft or pick one up at free agency? I could see both. But I will say, I did on my mock draft, I had us getting a nickel corner, Jaden Kennedy out of Oregon. He can also play free safety as well. Would not surprise me if they draft, one of those defensive players that can play nickel corner, someone that can play, maybe even like a safety guy, kind of like Jalen Kilgore out of South Carolina. He can play big nickel, but he can also play some strong safety, someone like that. That's just super versatile. Because like I said, Jones is going to want to move people around, kind of like what they do with Byron Murphy on the Vikings and how they move him inside and stuff like that. I think that's someone they need. So where does that bode for Sanders still? I don't know. Styles, but I can risk trading to 9 or 11, trading down to 9 or 11. Like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. Doesn't miss tackles, sheds blocks and covers, converted safety, and he's just around the ball every play for sure. To be honest, says Darkman 202, we need defense. Everybody's talking about offense. We look bad on defense. Let's get Downs if he's there for sure. I'm with it. And me mocking Sonny Styles is not like an anti-Caleb Downs campaign or anything like that at all. It's just, as of right now, that's where I'm at. Let me go over to my big board real quick. I was just looking at some updates real quick. See, I know PFF upgraded a lot of stuff. Manners Nation said, could you see Kamari Ramsey fit in Durante's scheme? For sure. Just looking at him, he played, obviously, a lot of safety, but he also played a lot of slot. He also played a lot of nickel. He played 251 snaps in the slot. He played 103 in the box. He played 93 deep. The year before that, which I think he was better there, he played 273 snaps at free safety. He played 167 in the box and only 164 in the slot. But he can play everywhere. I'm not saying he was bad this year at all, because he only had a missed tackle rate of 3.2%. Average depth of run tackle at 18.2 yards, which is great. He was fantastic. I like Ramsey, and I like Bishop Fitzgerald too, the other USC safety. But Ramsey's 6 foot 205. We need speed. We need size. He's a younger prospect. He was only a redshirt junior. Like I feel like he fits. I feel like he fits what Durante wants. So that's the kind of players y'all need to be looking at. Like you said, with Kamari Ramsey, but then also someone maybe like Genesis Smith, Arizona, played a lot of deep, played in the box. He can play some slot. He played a lot of slot last year. Like I said, I already said Bishop Fitzgerald. Who's the other guy? I'm blanking from Arizona. Stukes. Treydon Stukes. Where is he at? Dang, did they boost him up that high already? Or do they have him as corner? I think they have him as a corner, but he played a lot of safety too. Where's he at? Chandler Rivers is another guy. It's kind of small. I know people are going to hate it, but I think he can play some safety too. Jalen Kogor, already talked about him. Jaden Kennedy, I already talked about him too. 5'11", 185. He can play free safety. He can play in the slot. And I don't see him getting run over in the run game often. Where the heck? There's Treydon Stukes. Why do they have him at 289? It's way too low. Yeah, Treydon Stukes, 380 snaps in the slot, 197 in the box, 19 deep. But the year before that, he didn't play a lot of slot snaps. Didn't give up a single touchdown. He had 4 interceptions last year, a passer rating of 34.4 when he was targeted. And he had, I think it was 6 pass breakups as well, and he had 0 turnovers. So Treydon Stukes is an absolute stud. That's somebody definitely worth looking after. So just look for a versatile defender that can rotate in certain packages, but also experience. So Bud Clark, the safety from TCU, like I said, one of the more obvious commander picks for me so far this week. Dude was balling for sure. Pair free agent Eric Wilson, who's currently with the Vikings for sure. To mentor Sonny Styles, our linebacker court would be one of the best. I agree. And like I said, I think Frankie Louvu takes a big jump. You think Cyrus Allen has a little bit of Jaden Noel to his game? A little bit. I think the one thing, let me pull up his profile. The one thing I think he struggles with is contested catches, though. Where is he at? I feel like Noel was just a little bit more big body, like stout. Like I remember seeing him in person. I'm like, that's a stout dude. Yeah, so he only had a 20% contested catch rate, Cyrus Allen. But like for me, that's fine. His route running he shouldn't even be in contested catch, areas because his route running was filthy. His diamond release package was I'm shocked. I'm stunned. I can't even speak. Like Cyrus, I was literally shocked by how good his routes were. Only 1 drop on 69 targets. He only had 661 yards, but he still had 13.5 yards per catch. It's just the passing game wasn't there. And he had 12 touchdowns. I want to say that was 3rd or 4th most in all of Power 4, which is insane. But yeah, 69 targets, only had 1 drop. And like I said, the last few seasons, it's been like, whatever. They played him outside at 5'11", 180. And then he finally got his, slot snaps, and he broke out. Like, surprise, surprise. But yeah, Cyrus Allen is a dog. That dude can play. You think we trade back if we get Sonny? No. ETN's for sure. Another one of the running backs I didn't mention for sure. Josh, what are your thoughts on Ted Hurst? He had one really, really good catch on day 1, but then he didn't do anything after that. He has a drop problem as well. I don't know where they have him ranked. They have him at 150. PFF does. I will say, like, his size stands out. 6'3", 195. But yeah, he had 7 drops this past year. So he has a drop rate of 9%. Of course, he has a high contested catch rate. He misses a lot of he forces a lot of missed tackles. But it's just like, I don't think he's really getting all that separation that I want. And what's he going to look like at the next level playing at Georgia State? I wasn't too impressed. Like, he made a couple solid plays, but there's a lot of other, wide receivers at the Senior Bowl that I liked more. Hoping we can get one of those good D tackles to help in the trenches. I love this defensive tackle class. And they're definitely showing out. Obviously, Lee Hunter's been the dude all season long, just wrecking guys. But there's some sleepers too. Caleb Banks had a great week. Dante Corleone is super underrated. This dude was like a top 10 pick. I think he had like blood clots or something in his lungs. I can't remember, but just strange. But Dante Corleone, the Godfather is what they call him. One of the most dominant dudes I've seen in a very long time. He was fantastic. Dominique Orange, the big citrus. Darrell Jackson Jr., super lengthy guy, only 22 years old, 6'5", 337. Grayson Halton is a guy that popped off at the Senior Bowl as well. He's got a big boost over this past week. That dude was wrecking everybody. Grayson Halton from Oklahoma, D tackle, 6'2", 292, leverage machine. Tim Keenan looked good. Zane Durant, I thought had a great week too. I think he's worth a later round, a day 3 pick for sure. I think he had a fantastic week. Big Dom from Philly was over there trying to talk to my Penn State guys. I had to shoot him away. I told him to stay away from Zakee Wheatley because he's a Commanders fan. But shout out to Big Dom, I guess. I don't know why he was trying to recruit my college guys. Brooke Tyler says, do you see a scenario where Commanders trade for Crosby, sign Breece Hall, Kyle Pitts, causing for a limited draft strategy in round 2, etc.? I don't see them trading for Crosby, but I will say at the same time, if Adam Peters decided to trade pick 71 for like Jermaine Johnson, who's the other 2 guys? Kayvon Thibodeau and dude from the Jaguars. I'm blanking. It is literally right there. Let's just say Jermaine Johnson. I wouldn't be too mad at it because once again, this isn't the best draft. So if I know that my 3rd round pick can get Jermaine Johnson, which I don't know if it will, a 3rd in 2027 probably would, but this draft, I just don't see it. I don't think they would trade any more picks because they do need to get younger. But if the opportunity is there for someone, for them to trade for someone like Jermaine Johnson with a 3rd round pick, I would not be mad at that. God, why can I not think of the dude for the Jags? Trayvon Walker. Good guy. That took me a second. But Breece Hall, I don't know if they're going to want him to go, but Washington has been linked to him for a little while. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they went after Kyle Pitts. They desperately need another tight end 1 with Zach Ertz probably not coming back. But yeah, I don't see them trading any picks. What do you think about Darrell Jackson? And shout out to Raging Red Commander 1. Appreciate you. Like I said, Darrell Jackson, he had a great week. He got a late call up to the Senior Bowl. Just seeing him in person, dude's got, like I said, he's got length. His arms were a problem for people all week at the Shrine Bowl. And then when he got to the Senior Bowl, he was doing the same thing. Downs in draft and bring Cam Curl back. I know his dad said that like he was talking about teams he'd want to go to, or like he had a list or something, and he said Washington was not on that list. I think that bridge is burnt. I don't see a way Cam Curl comes back. I think that bridge is well burnt. Bill wasn't even that good only because he was a 7th round pick. Teams don't fear him. I think he still got juice to him. I mean, Washington ran the ball really well last year. People keep telling me that Washington could not run the ball, but they actually had one of the better rushing offenses in the league. Sign Romeo Dobbs and Pitts for sure. William, I would love that. So if this draft is projected to be this bad, that a lot of teams are going to be very, very active in free agency, that I can agree with. But teams are also going to be very active in keeping their own guys too, though. Instead of $20 million per year for Lloyd, sign Eric Wilson for 1 year, $5 million, and Devin Bush for 3 year, $30 million. Wouldn't hate that at all. Like I said, if Lloyd gets to the market, though, I would do it. But I think a more realistic option would be Devin Bush and Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson knows the defense, and he's a familiar face for Durante Jones. Who would you like us to pick at number 7? I'm fine. Depends who falls there. I mean, honestly, any of those top defenders, Bain, Bailey, Downs, Styles, I'm good with them. And I wouldn't be mad if they took Jeremiah Love. I wouldn't be mad if they took one of the wide receivers. Like, I don't know. Jordan Tyson, I'd be like, oof, that's risky because of his injury stuff. But I would be fine with Tate, and I'd be fine with Lemon. But I just think it has to be defense, in my opinion. I'd take Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker out of Texas Tech, in the 4th. I would too. Except we don't have a 4th. I don't know if he's going to be there in the 5th. I don't know if he's going to be there in the 5th. Shout out to Mr. Edwards reposting on X. Thank you. Yep, as of now, I got Sonny Styles. Louisville, McGee, Owens will benefit the most from Jones for sure. Like I said, I mean, especially McGee, because he's still developing and stuff like that, but he can still do it all too. The coverage, the blitzing, the stopping the run. And same with Louisville. I think they're great, but you need 3 linebackers for sure. You need to. And I don't know. I think Newton, I'm still high on Newton. I'm not giving up on Newton. But I think he's going to project well too, because the defensive line, especially some of those depth guys at defensive tackle, they got better over the last few years. Bud Clark, safety from TCU, definitely on my list. Definitely on my list. Can't argue with more corners. Absolutely not. Pitts would be a massive mistake. Too many tight ends available. It's been big on him. Arankro from the Titans is a better value. They don't want him to go, though. Hawkinson, Knox, Fant, Njoku. I mean, Isaiah Likely might be on the top of my list. What do you think about Eric Gentry? That dude is literally built in the lab. I need to watch more of him. I just don't know how much his size limits him and how much it actually helps him out. But, I mean, apparently he was making a lot of plays at the Shrine Bowl this week. Like, I just kept seeing videos of him. But I got to go back and watch Eric Gentry. But definitely one of those intriguing guys where it's like, holy smokes, this guy's just an athletic freak. My guy Abdullah. Where does Tyron Montgomery get drafted? Kid was impressive. Yeah, man, I was not expecting that at all. D3 kid who just started playing football 2 years ago, and he was just routing everybody up. PFF has him now at 157. So they have him above Cyrus Allen. I don't know about that. But 157, I still think that's good value. I'd rather have him than Ted Hurst. I'll be honest with you. I did not like Jacoby Lane, which really sucked. I thought he was just way too small. Like, obviously he's tall, 6'4", but I was shocked at how thin rail he was. I was like, this dude needs to be like 215. And he made a couple good plays at practice, but I was really high on him before the Senior Bowl. He was one of the only players I watched from like, I just don't think I like him anymore. Like, it sucks because I did really like him going into the Senior Bowl. I was like, I don't think I like Jacoby Lane anymore. I really don't. And PFF doesn't either, because they dropped him all the way to 136. And he was at like 70, 80 at the highest. But yeah, I was not impressed by Jacoby Lane, which sucks to say because I liked him. Malachi Fields impressed the heck out of me. I liked him a lot. Some people have him in the first round. I think, was it Daniel Jeremiah or someone else had him as a late first round pick, which I think is a little bonkers. But that's what I'm saying, y'all. This draft is going to be crazy. This draft's going to be crazy. They're going to see Malachi Fields at 6'4", 222. He's going to run like a 4.4 something. And they're going to say, holy shit, give me this guy at the end of the first, because I don't like any of these other wide receivers. Or he'll go early second now. He was projected to go like middle fourth before the Senior Bowl, and he might be a first round pick now. Yosoy said, I believe our new OCDC would get more out of the last 2 draft classes from AP. I agree with that a lot too. I think it's better fits for what they're going to want to do this season on offense and defense. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. Sneaky free agent signing Grant Calcaterra. Dude, I remember him coming out of college. I was a fan. I haven't kept up with him, to be honest with you. Yeah, JJ Tibbs and Walker was who I was looking for. Thank you. You think Jacob Rodriguez there at our 3rd round pick? Man, I got to see how he's going to test, because the dude can just play, though. Like, I think he's worth a 3rd round pick. I think he does fit, everything they look for sure. Man, a 3rd round pick. I don't know. We'll have to see, but he's a baller. He's absolutely a baller for sure. Odafe Away. See, like Away, they traded for him. I don't think they're going to let him go. Resign Martin. I'm with that. And Wise, got to see about that injury. Kingsley Adengbare is a guy I like. I haven't seen a lot of people talk about him, but I'll definitely talk about him. Malachi Lawrence at 71. That's the dude from UCF. McClellan, round 5. I agree with about half of what you said. I'm not mad at it. Torian York, he's a small dude, but he can play. Let me see what his measurements are, because from what I saw, he was a small dude. Damn, they have him at 80. 5'10", 227. So he's a little tiny. But Kyle Lewis, Kyle's bigger than him, 6'1", 220. Is that right? I don't know. Kyle Lewis had a hell of a week too. He might be one of my favorite linebackers in the draft. Now that I've seen that. Would you be interested in taking the tackle from Miami? I think you're talking about Bell. Heck no. I would not invest any more draft capital at tackle. After they did Coleman, 2 picks for Laremy Tunsil, first round pick on Josh Connolly Jr. That offensive line, tackles need to be straight for years to come. Everybody's talking about trading down, but could you see a trade up that's really high on one player? No, they have nothing to trade, and definitely not trading 2027 picks. Are there any underrated wide receivers you think we might try and get? I think Kevin Coleman. I'm not calling him underrated. I'm super high on Kevin Coleman. Like I said, I'm already in contact with his camp. I'm like, yo, if Washington shows you any interest, please tell me, like right away. I love Kevin Coleman. I think he fits perfectly in the slot. And I think PFF has him way too low. They have him. Oh my God. This is why I don't always follow PFF. Where the heck is he? Oh, I think I double tapped it. They have him at 188. That is terrible. That is terrible. He is not 188. Kevin Coleman's a top 90 pick for sure. Top 90. If he's not there if he's still on the board by the end of the 3rd round, I might give up. But underrated, I'll say we talked about a couple. Tyron Montgomery out of John Carroll, Cyrus Allen out of Cincinnati. Brennan Thompson is a speed demon. He's only 5'9", 170 though. Caleb Douglas had some good moments. Josh Cameron's actually what is Josh Cameron? He is like a 6'1", 224 running back that plays wide receiver, and he catches everything. Defensive backs hate covering him. He only had 1 drop on 102 targets. He's just 59.3% contested catch rate. I mean, he's an interesting guy. Josh Cameron, man. Number 34 at wide receiver. That's how that tells you everything about Josh Cameron. Definitely go watch Josh Cameron. Lewis Bond out of Boston College, slot receiver, 5'11", 190. I did not know anything about him either. He had a great week. He had almost 1,000 yards this year. Only 1 touchdown, which is extremely weird for someone to have almost 1,000 yards and only 1 touchdown. Boston College passing offense was not that good. This dude was just pretty much the whole offense. But he played 309 snaps in the slot and 181 on the outside. Everyone I talked to about Lewis Bond were like, oh yeah, man, he's good. Like he's one of those guys. You're like, why are people not talking about him more? I need to go back and watch some Boston College film apparently, but man, there was like 1-on-1 drills or even 11-on-11. I was like, man, this guy Lewis Bond is making play after play. I was really, really impressed. Colin Lacey ran some good routes. He's 5'10", 190. He's an older prospect. Like I said, Barian Brown impressed me. But yeah, there's some day 3 wide receivers who I'm like, I think there's something there. I think there's something there. I think there's something there club is led by Lewis Bond out of Boston College. But Josh Cameron, I mean, that's like the Avengers, man. You got your slot wide receiver, super shifty, great with his hands. You got your just freak of nature, Josh Cameron from Baylor, 6'1", 224. You got Kevin Coleman, speedy slot guy as well. Great after the catch. Great route runner. Like, man, I don't know. I think this wide receiver class, there's some gems hidden in it. Like I'm super intrigued. Let's see. Would you be mad if they took 2 edges in the draft? No. If let's say they took David Bailey at 7 and then came back and took, like, let's just say Nadam Tucker last to the 5th round, they double up. I'm not gonna be mad at that because we don't know how long Dorrance Armstrong's gonna be out. I don't think Wise, like, is he even gonna be cleared to play? Is he even gonna play again? Like, you need that, like, you need the production, but you also need someone that can stop the run. You can't just come out there with Jacob Martin again. And like Javonte Jean-Baptiste, he's always hurt. I don't know what to do with him. Yeah, I mean, I honestly wouldn't be mad. Like, I'd be like, okay, Adam Peters understood the assignment. Is Chris Hilton Jr. someone we're targeting day 3 if available? Has a connection with Daniels, and they were at LSU for a bit. So he was at the Senior Bowl for like one day. I didn't really get to watch him, so I can't really give you a good answer because I didn't watch him this season. But we'll see. But like I said, honestly, there's a lot of day 3 wide receivers I really like. What edge rushers would be available with our 3rd pick, says Darkman. So this is something I wrote about too. And like I said, if they miss on somebody, I feel good about this group. So after the Senior Bowl, they have Gabe Akis from Illinois up into the 2nd round now. Like I said, he was projected to be like a mid-3rd rounder. They have Zion Young up there now around that same mark. I think Derek Moore might be available, which I'm a big fan of Derek Moore, 6'3", 260. Great burst off the line, really good, skill set. He has a lot of different tools that he brings that he attacks with, but also he can stop the run. Denai Dennis Sutton is always going to be my dream at 71. Denai Dennis Sutton is the pick at 71 if it was up to me. If they don't take an edge at 7, I would do anything for Denai Dennis Sutton at 71. And then it kind of drops off after that. But like I said, you have Nadam Tucker, who's projected to be late 4th, maybe early 5th. Malachi Lawrence is about that same range. And then it's kind of just like some rotational guys for me. But Denai Dennis Sutton in the 3rd round, pick 71. That is my dream. Ted Hurst, yeah, like I said, he had one really good catch where he like bodied a defender, but I wasn't impressed by much after that. What do you think about Eric Gentry and what do you think about the center class? So I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but yeah, Eric Gentry is just like a freak of nature. I haven't watched enough of him yet, Radar, to be like, oh, he can do this, he can do that. But apparently he just has like freakishly like long arms and he's super tall. So I got to watch him. Center class, I think it's weird. I think Jake Slaughter's good, but like the first center is not projected to be taken until like the early 3rd round. So that tells you everything you need to know about it. Pat Coogan from Indiana, obviously super interesting guy. I think he might end up being one of the better ones. My guy Parker Brailsford from Alabama is not projected until like the 5th round. Yeah, it's just not a good class at all, to be honest with you. But I think there's about 2 starters in it probably. Connor Liu would have been really good, but he tore his ACL, only played like half the season. Center from Auburn. They still have him as center 1, which tells you how bad the center class is. The dude tore his ACL and he's still projected. Eric says, what's the possibility of getting Reese or Bain Jr.? Man, I'm telling y'all, I just don't be surprised if draft night happens. Like, look, let me do something real quick. Let me just select all. 1st round draft. Raiders are going to be Fernando Mendoza, obviously. The Jets are getting mocked Arvell Reese a ton, so we'll do that. Cardinals, they need a lot of stuff too. They need a tackle, they need guard, they need defense too. Let me see before I hit my mic. Trying to see where like Daniel Jeremiah and them, who they have going to the Cardinals. Let me see. Here we go. Spencer Fanu from Utah, tackle. Okay, I could see it. So, I mean, I don't know if I like Fanu or Francis McGuy from Miami. Let's just do Spencer Fanu. Let's do him. So Cardinals go offensive tackle because they need it. I think Titans, from what I got, I think they go edge. And just thinking about Robert Saleh's defense, I think, man, I don't know. I personally think they would go Bain, but I think a lot of people think that they're going to go Bailey. So man, shoot. I'm just going to give them Bain. Giants, who knows what they're about to do, but let's just say they take wide receiver and they go Jordan Tyson. The Browns, they need a wide receiver. They need a tackle. They still need a quarterback. Let's give the Browns Cardell Tate. Keep the Ohio State boy. So I mean, you could have David Bailey, Downs, Love, Styles, Lemon, all there on the board. But like, say the Cardinals are like, we're taking the best player available and we're taking David Bailey or Ruben Bain. That could throw a wrench in everything. And let's just say the Giants say, okay, we know we can get a wide receiver coming up. Let's take Caleb Downs because Javon Holland has been terrible. And they paid him a lot of money. So I don't know. Like, there's honestly a chance that they wouldn't be able to get either of them. And I think people have to be okay with that. All right, let's see. I'm going to do a couple more, and then we're going to hop up off of here for the night as I get back to work. Thoughts on free agency guys like Romeo Doubs, Nick Cross, or a versatile corner, Alontae Taylor, Cardell Flott, or targets in free agency? Doubs and Cross are high on my list. See, I like Cross. I liked him coming out. I think he was at Maryland. I'm pretty sure. I think he would fit the defense well. Romeo Doubs, that's my guy. He's been my guy since he was at the Senior Bowl. Super cool dude. He would be one of my dream guys in Washington for sure. And then they can attack the slot and get one of those guys later in the draft that I've talked about a bunch. But Alontae Taylor, he's one of those interesting guys too. I'm all for Alontae Taylor. Let me see. Let me pull up the free agency list real quick. Definitely gonna do a free agency like stream coming up soon, maybe next week. We'll see. Spot track. Please get rid of these videos that pop up all the time. Nobody wants to see that. Safety. Jalen Thompson's another guy I like. Kevin Byard, we'll see. With his age, he had a heck of a season. Gilman was pretty solid for the Ravens once they traded for him. Reed Blankenship. Melifuanu, maybe. He's a versatile guy. The guy from the Dolphins, my girl actually knows him, which is weird. Just kidding. They're from the same area. Jaquan Brisker is up there. Brian Cook is interesting from the Chiefs. He's projected $14 million a year. Yeah, Nick Scott. He's only projected about $5.1 million a year. I'd take a swing on him. Dang, he's about to be 31. When did he get so old? Oh, that's Nick Scott. I'm talking about Nick Cross from the Colts. There we go. Yeah, he's only 24. I'm about to say, damn, I'm getting old. He's projected at $6 million. Nick Cross. That's Nick Scott. Who else do I like? Dang, there's a lot of free agent safeties. Holy smokes. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. No. Yeah, honestly, the safety group is pretty, I like it. But I love the safety draft as well. I love the safety draft. There's a lot of guys on there that I would definitely take. Corner. Why do they have Jimmy Ward as a corner? Amik Robertson, Greg Newsome, Jeff Okudah from the Vikings would not surprise me if they signed him for depth. Josh Jobe, Alontae Taylor, Cam Taylor-Britt would probably fit. Like you said, Cordell Flott. There's like 3 more I know I'm missing. Rock Ya-Sin has been a name like every offseason. Nashawn Wright, obviously, with his big season with the Bears. I don't know if he'd be willing to leave and go to a different system after having a really good year. Tariq Woolen, obviously. Tarek Brown from the Jags. And I mean, Jalen Watson from the Chiefs would be fantastic if they let him go. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, this secondary has some intriguing free agencies. We'll see. But yeah, they definitely got some options. Hey, Josh, be careful. You're liking a lot of gyms this draft that you basically called trash. So there's a chance that you're going to go 0 for 6 in this draft. There's also a chance you go 6 for 6. But no, I see what you're saying. I do think that there is some like under the radar players in this draft that aren't getting talked about enough that have the possibility to do something big. Let's see. I'm gonna do like 2 more real quick. Let me go down here to the bottom. Yeah, the Quan Martin experience definitely going to be ending for sure. Gyms are starting to be more aggressive, look for more trades. I mean, yeah, teams that just fired a ton of head coaches that you're like, holy smokes. But yeah, players are going to be on the trade block more than you think. Speedy middle linebacker for sure. Yeah, Maryland Cross. I totally said the wrong guy. I really like Watson from the Chiefs at radar for sure. Same here. What running back do you think we get? Whoops. Man, I think Rico Dowdle is an interesting one for the offense too. I feel like I keep saying interesting. I think Rico Dowdle would fit because he can do zone and gap blocking schemes. I think Blau's going to run a little bit of both. You're going to get a lot of outside zone, but then you're going to get some wham. You're going to get some duo. Like you're going to get that just classic Detroit Lions, like Matt Campbell blocking scheme, in my opinion. And I think Rico Dowdle would fit. Like I would take a flyer on Rico Dowdle. Just to be that number 1 running back, and then you rotate Bill in. You keep Chris Rodriguez. But yeah, I would like Rico Dowdle, let's be honest with you. I like Rachaad White. I think he's underrated. I just don't know how he kind of fits in the scheme of everything. But I don't know. I do like him though. Like I said, I really like this running back free agency group as well. But Rico Dowdle's pretty high on my list. I am shocked that the Panthers went away from feeding him the rock. But all right, y'all, we've been live for over an hour. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for all the comments, questions, just chopping up with the draft. Obviously, this is just getting started. But I could only do so much on my Senior Bowl stream because we had so much going on, and it was a very rinky-dink setup in that Airbnb. But obviously, I'm back home now, and I just wanted to just get everything out there. How I feel about the draft coming away from the Senior Bowl and just networking with everyone and just talking, like I said, to like scouts and other like draft heads and draft experts and just getting their thoughts because it's good to just kind of get out of your own bubble. I mean, when you're here every day of your life working from home and you're just watching stuff and doing your own work, it's good to get out there. And honestly, I feel so much better and refreshed, which it's obviously an exhausting week. I mean, we were getting like 4 hours of sleep at night. But it's great. I'm telling y'all, if you do any kind of content, if you do any kind of writing, videos, Abdullah, my guy, one of the goats of photography, if you do anything sports media, football related, I don't care what it is, go to the Senior Bowl. Go next year and see for yourself. Network with people, watch these players, talk to the players, meet with agents, connect with agents. Like I said, I left with like 10 different agents like that I haven't met before. Like Kevin Coleman Jr., I'm in his camp, knows me by name. I was all over them. I was like, man, let me know if Kevin Coleman Jr. gets a visit with Washington, and I will come pick him up from the airport. So I encourage so many people like go to the Senior Bowl if you have the chance to. And hopefully you'll enjoy the content while I was there. Like I said, I just had so many videos and so many articles to do and stuff like that. So catch up if you haven't already. I pretty much put a bow on everything. Senior Bowl wise, but I'm still pushing a lot of draft stuff. Then obviously going to be shifting over to free agency as well, blending that in. over the next few weeks. So stay on the lookout for that. But I appreciate y'all coming through on the stream. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Make sure you are subscribed on YouTube. If not, come over to YouTube and get that done. And I will see y'all same time, same day next week, Monday night at 7 o'clock. And we might just have to do a free agency stream because we got a good bit of free agency questions in here, and I appreciate that. So I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy the Super Bowl on next Sunday night because you won't see me until then. And I know y'all don't want to see Drake May win it, but I kind of do. I kind of do. And my girl's a Patriots fan, so I definitely do. But I appreciate y'all, and I'll